Welcome, everyone. We're so glad you're here. You're joining a powerful legacy and stepping into a movement that's been shaped by generations of students who believe that higher education should be accessible, equitable, and a tool for justice. This isn't just an orientation, it's a moment to ground ourselves in the history we inherit, the leadership we're building together, and the work ahead of us to protect our campuses and communities. My name is Lotus Taylor, and I'm the 2025 Vice President of Administration. I come from a long lineage of educators, and my playgrounds at times included Columbia University and the high schools my parents worked at. I came into this work because higher education changed my life, and I want to ensure that all prospective students have the chance to experience it and succeed.
And I'm Jonathan Brenton, and the 2025 Vice President of Finance. My story starts in 2023 when I joined ASA, also known as Arizona Student Association, where I felt the need to follow my beliefs in pursuing an equitable society for everyone. Together, we're going to take you through this introduction to the student movement and the United States Student Association, also known as USSA. Whether you're brand new or already organizing on your campus, as long as you're a current student in higher education, this space is for you. Let's take a quick look at what we'll cover today. First off is our agenda. We'll start with USSA's mission and history. We'll discuss current priorities, how membership works, and most importantly, how you can plug in. So first up, what is USSA? Let's talk about what USSA is and why it matters. USSA stands for the United States Student Association. It's the oldest, largest, and most inclusive student-led, student-run organization in the country. Founded in 1947, we build student power by organizing on campuses and lobbying in Congress. We make sure students, not corporations, not lobbyists, are the ones shaping education policy. Here's how we define ourselves. Who is USSA? We are a national home for student leaders, past, present, and future, fighting for access to education, racial justice, and student power. USSA brings together students from all kinds of schools and backgrounds to win real victories on and off campus. Our mission. Our mission is to serve as the official voice of students enrolled in higher education in the US and to mobilize and develop leaders to advocate for policies that center students' needs. We fight for access, affordability, and equity. What do? We believe education is a right, that it means it should be free, accessible, and inclusive, regardless of race, gender, class, or ability. We organize, train, and build leaders so students are equipped to fight for their futures. Our work includes federal advocacy and lobbying, leadership development and training, national campaigns for social and economic justice, and coalition building with labor, community, and civil rights movements.
To understand where we're going, we have to understand where we've been. That's Sankofa. Sankofa is a word from the Akan language in Ghana, Africa, and it means to go back and get it, or to learn from the past to build the future. Also, shout out to Angus Johnston, our USSA Foundation Board member and student activist historian. In 1946, 727 student leaders from 307 colleges and universities came together in Chicago. Many were veterans returning from World War II, using the GI Bill to attend college for the very first time. They believed deeply in racial equality, academic freedom, and student rights, and they founded the National Student Association to fight for those values. Fast forward to 1976, the landscape of higher education in the country was changing. The federal government had dramatically expanded its role in education policy with landmark legislation like the Higher Education Act of 1965, which created federal financial aid programs and opened the doors of college to millions of low-income and first-generation students. Though the Department of Education wouldn't be officially established until 1979, its functions were already being centralized and strengthened through legislation and policy reforms. At the same time, under President Gerald Ford, the country was navigating the aftermath of the Vietnam War, Watergate, and a deepening mistrust in political institutions. Tuition was rising, student debt was emerging as a new reality, and the promise of public education as a public good was under threat. These students envisioned an organization that would unify student voices and push for real change. As one delegate said, it would seem that for the first time in history, American students will have some instrument for expressing their thoughts, revealing their needs, and satisfying their legitimate requests. This wasn't just about school policy, it was about democracy, civil rights, and freedom. Students recognized that scattered campus-based efforts weren't enough. They needed to consolidate their power nationally. In response, the National Student Association, also known as NSA, with its deep roots in campus organizing, and the National Student Lobby, also known as NSL, a younger formation focused on federal lobbying, merged to form the United States Student Association, also known as USSA. In 1976, the merger was finalized at a conference in Columbia, Missouri, establishing USSA as a unified national student voice that could both organize students locally and influence national education policy directly in Washington, D.C. This merger marked the beginning of the modern USSA, rooted in both protest and policy. In the early 2000s, a series of strategic attacks happened as legislators and right-wing think tank organizations organized around a chain of policies that dismantled and weakened student power and USSA's reach. Then, in 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic hit and interrupted leadership transitions and the operations of our main office. USSA basically came to a full stop. In 2024, leaders from California, Washington, and Oregon began reviving USSA. And fast forward to March of 2025, USSA came back to DC for its 47th Grassroots Legislative Conference. Take a look at this recap video.
Now let's get into the USSA membership. So what do you actually get when your campus or statewide student association becomes a member of USSA? Membership isn't just about voting rights at the national level, it's about plugging into a year-round association that's part of a global student community, support, strategy, and shared power. Let's break down what it includes. First, we work directly with student leaders to develop national and statewide campaigns tailored to your campus and political environment. You'll have access to national training sessions on both issue-based and electoral campaigns, so you're never building alone. We help your organization plan for the year, offering guidance on campaign timelines, strategy, and leadership development. You'll also be invited to participate in national sign-on letters, coordinated call-in days to elected officials, and week or day-long actions with campuses across the country, so you never have to organize in isolation. You'll be part of something bigger. We also host national conference calls and peer learning spaces, annual statewide student leader trainings, invitations to the National Legislative Conference and the National Student Congress, support for launching or growing a statewide student association, and direct connections to alumni, mentors, and the USSA Foundation Board. On top of that, there are fundraising opportunities because we know student orgs need resources to win. One of the most exciting offerings we have is access to nationally respected trainings. Two of our core programs are hosted in partnership with the Midwest Academy, one of the leading training institutions for organizers in the country. Let's start with GROW, also known as the Grassroots Organizing Weekend. This is a powerful two-day retreat where students get deep, hands-on training in local campaigning. At GROW, participants learn how to identify community issues that matter, how to build coalitions and map out power, how to develop a full campaign plan using the Midwest Academy Strategy Chart, a tool that breaks your campaign down into clear goals, tactics, decision makers, and timelines. And lastly, how to tell your story and bring people with you. You'll leave Grow knowing how to lead canvases, rallies, public meetings, and most importantly, how to win. The other signature training is EAT, also known as the Electoral Action Training. This is where we bridge grassroots organizing with electoral power. EAT teaches you how to run voter registration and GOTV programs, connect your issue campaigns to elections, train and manage volunteers, identify your targets and tailor messages to move them, and hold elected officials accountable after the election is over. The core idea behind EAT is that elections aren't the end of organizing. They're a tool to build long-term power. We want you to leave this training able to run field operations, manage teams, and stay rooted in your community's needs. Both Grow and Eat are designed to make sure you're not ready to protest, but deeply trained. They give you the frameworks and skills to sustain real movements on campus, in your state, and in your communities.
Now that you've learned about USSA's history and mission, let's talk about what it means to be a member. There are two types of membership: campus membership, where individual student governments or organizations vote to join USSA, as well as statewide student association memberships, where existing SSAs like the State University of New York Student Assembly or the Arizona Student Association represent students collectively. Membership means you can have a vote, can send delegates to our National Governance Council, participate in national campaigns, training, and decisions. Joining is simple. Your student government or statewide student association just needs to pass a resolution to become a member and then designate your delegates to USSA. You can find a sample resolution on our website. We're also happy to help you draft one and get it passed on your campus. As we wrap up, we want to invite you to stay plugged in. Join our WhatsApp group for real-time updates and organizing calls. Follow us on social media. Sign up for our national listserv on our website to stay informed about trainings, briefings, and campaign updates. This is your organization. We are rebuilding USSA together, not just for ourselves, but for every student who deserves access to an education that's liberating, not limiting. Thank you for being here. Let's build power together.